every action has a reaction.
Right.
Like Biden went so fucking stupidly far toward a pretty much come one, come all, just walk right in policy.
Yeah.
And they have to own that to a degree.
Right.
Again, I do not support what Trump is doing, but I get where it comes from.
Yeah.
Action, reaction.
Right.
If you go that far, almost to your point you were asking me a minute ago about who's more right or left.
Yeah.
Like, if you go that far left, what do you expect? You are going to get people who come in and go that far right.
Yeah.
So in a way, and if you don't win the election, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So Democrats have a lot of looking in the mirror to do.
No doubt.
Hold it. Back up.
There's no reason for it. Nothing happened other than the chaos that they created themselves. If anything, we were pushed and shoved and found in a very vulnerable situation.
The Democrats continually shows that they're only about themselves and not really about the American people. I told you, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but I won't say it again. I won't refrain. All I'm going to say is Democrats politically benefit from having illegals in this country. Illegals, if you give them the choice to vote, disproportionately support the Democratic Party. Currently, these illegals are used to fluff up the census, the population numbers of many Democratic states. So if Trump succeeds in his mass deportation plan, it hurts Democrats very much politically. And I think this is some of the motive for them to go so hard and to the point where they're shoving and pushing and try to go into ICE, right? And many people, you know, I'm showing you different framings. Make the Road New York, Jersey, right? These blue sky accounts that are showing these clips. And one quote that keeps getting thrown in the face of the Democratic Party is no one is above the law. No one, right? But they pretend illegals are. You broke into this country and you don't want to suffer the consequences of breaking into this country illegally, which is deportation, but you need due process. We already know the numbers. 90% of asylum claims aren't legitimate. So a lot of these people we know are coming to this country under unlegit reasons, but instead of detaining them or having them wait in Mexico like Donald Trump did in his 2016 presidency, Democrats just want us to hand them papers and let them free in our country. But then they're going to say, everyone on this soil deserves due process. Huh? But doesn't everyone on this soil deserve to follow the law of this country and also suffer the responsibility and the accountability of breaking those laws? Correct? Okay, so some people, some residents broke those laws and they deserve to be deported. But what Democrats are doing? Getting in the way, as they usually do. So now everyone's making a mockery of this. Every American seeing this is just like, wow, Democrats are going to go this hard for illegals, huh? Craziness. Here's Matt Von Swole, cool name. So let me get this straight. If I attempt to break into an ICE detention facility and started shoving federal agents, I'll go to jail immediately. But when a Democrat does it, they go on MSNBC and claim America is now an authoritarian state. Can someone explain this to me? And you saw in the clip, in the last intro clip before I showed you, you can see that she's initiating the pushing, right? And they just glossed over that. But, you know, Democrats are going to play victim. I'm going to have a reaction from Tom Homan, but I want to show you this clip of one of the 3 Democrats that are facing charges and how she frames the events. And then I'll let Tom Homan give his piece. Let's take a look.
Woman who was at that protest, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman. Congresswoman, so good to see you. So, I mean, describe, if you could, what happened.
So we were there for a tour. ICE was giving us the runaround. We finally got into a facility. We heard some noise. We came out. We found out the mayor was there, and ICE was having conversations with him. They asked him to leave the facility. He left the facility, went behind the gates, out there with the protesters. The ICE members were talking on the phone. We hear them say, all right, we're going to go to arrest him. We ask, why are you arresting him? He's not on the property. He's not on your property. They ignored us. They opened the gate. They pushed through people. There were several armed guards, and they went to get to the mayor. and LaMonica and Rob and I tried to shield the mayor. I don't know anything about anybody hitting back at any of those large and weaponized officers. This whole issue of arresting the mayor on what was public property was wrong. There's no reason to arrest him. ICE caused this chaos, and it was just an illustration of their responding to someone at a very high level in the organization, because we had all of the New Jersey ICE officers and supervisors there on the ground with us to conduct the tour. So our question was, why are you arresting the mayor who is not on your property? Why are you causing this chaos? And why are you treating people with such disrespect and humiliating the mayor of the largest city of the state of New Jersey? And why are you pushing on us?
So you've seen that, you heard that, right? As you can see, New Jersey Dems says ICE manufactured body cam footage to frame her, right? They, you know, the ICE people, they threw the receipts at her. They're like, oh yeah, y'all wasn't being violent. Here you go. Ladies here pushing people. You guys were called for trespassing. You guys are raiding, essentially, an ICE facility. What you expect to happen? No one's above the law, right? And this is what we're talking about. This is what many people get. This is how Democrats catch themselves in a firing squad, because they don't live up to the values that they want other people to live up to. We want free speech unless it's something that Democrats don't like. Then we want censorship. Then somehow free speech is dangerous. No, censorship is more dangerous than free speech. Because if you don't give people the ability to express themselves vocally, what other options do these people have? They have to somehow articulate their frustrations. You get protest, you get violence, right? Look what's going on with the left right now. But you know, I digress. I don't want to hold on to this point too long. I want Tom Homan's perspective on this ICE raid from not ICE raid. Sorry, it's not a raid, but this protest from these mayors after they got some of them. The Newark mayor got arrested, and hear his thoughts on this, because it's interesting to hear how both sides are framing this event. Let's continue.
For being here, you know, just watching that body cam video, absolutely incredible to see that went down. And before we get to it, I'd like you to also hear what the Newark mayor had to say also in his defense.
We ask them to obey our laws, to obey the policies and rules here in the city and the state of New Jersey, not to run roughshod over the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the 4th, the 5th, the 14th Amendment, and everybody on this soil deserves due process.
Tom, he's saying they're the good guys here.
Well, look, he's not very smart. I mean, bottom line is, that's what the facility's all about. This facility's about due process. This facility is where we put illegal aliens, people in the country illegally, first of all. If they're in the country illegally, they're being detained. And they were screaming and yelling about due process and 14 and all this in the Constitution. This is where due process happens. We have to detain them to go through the due process. You know, sometimes seeing a judge, sometimes they already have final orders. It's ranging removal to their countries, they're getting travel documents to their countries, and making sure all the administrative processes are followed. So this is exactly what the facility means. And I'll tell you this, I can guarantee you this facility has higher detention standards than any New Jersey facility. This facility has higher
I agree with that. I agree with that. And then you can't ignore political bias here. You bring on your own people, right? New Jersey, most likely they agree. They're Democrats. They're going to be a little bit more laxer on illegal immigrants. But end of the day, these are the same. This is the same political party that's saying that illegally crossing the border here isn't a crime. This is the narrative from the Democrats. They're saying this. But if you look at the books, if you look at the facts, you look at the Constitution, Donald Trump is allowed to set the immigration policy. These immigration judges, they work outside the framework of the Constitution and the legal system. Essentially, that means Donald Trump has charge of, hey, how lax or how restrictive I am on immigration. Right now, we don't want nobody crossing the border right now. We want to turn off the flow as much as possible. We want to stop the flow and make it a trickle. A trickle. Yes, you heard that correctly. Democrats are like, oh my God, how can we win elections? Because now, as an independent, this is how I would frame it. It seems like Democrats are doing this stuff because they know that illegal immigration is almost a one-to-one benefit to them. For every illegal that comes into there, there's a 60-70% chance that that's a Democratic voter in the future. So this is what they're trying to do. But they're not winning this issue. Donald Trump has convinced the American people on his side on the border issue, and Democrats keep showing themselves as being about themselves over the American people. But I digress. Let's continue with Tom Homan's comments.
Detention standards in the industry. You compare that to any jail in New Jersey, and you'd be shocked how high these detention standards are.
You have members of Congress there as well, and they're arguing that this was a matter of oversight. I want you to listen to what Congressman Robert Menendez Jr. said yesterday.
We were there to conduct oversight. It's a newly opened facility. They want to spin people. This is exactly what they've done their entire administration. They talk about criminals. They're separating families.
Conducting oversight in this manner. Tom.
Yo, I don't understand Democrats. What are you guys doing? What are you doing, guys? What are you doing? We're separating. They're separating families. They're not holding people accountable. If my butt ever does a criminal activity, I'm getting separated from my 2 kids. Are you going to cry for me too, Democrats? Black man arrested for armed theft. He's being separated by his wife and children. Oh my God, the humanity. But illegals coming into this country illegally, breaking into our laws. Hey, you can't. You have to go. You have not gone through the proper channels. Punishment, return to your homeland. Separating families. But in the same breath, Marco Rubio, we had an example already happen. A mother got deported, and she petitioned to have her daughter come with her. Oh my God, they're deporting American children. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. And this is why many Americans, like I'm at the point as an independent. Yes, I'm a right-leaning independent, but I'm like, yo, just tune out the Democrats, bro. They're not serving anybody. They only serving themselves. Let me know in the comment section if you're starting to come away with this kind of conclusion, because that's what I'm coming off to. You literally fighting and tussling with ICE for what? Oversight. Yeah, okay.
There's not the proper way to do it. There's a proper way to conduct oversight. There's a way to make appointments, go in this facility. You don't break into the facility when a bus full of criminals are being, brought into that facility. This is about the safety and security of the employees. This is about the safety and security of the illegal aliens. And it's about the safety and security of the public. You just don't make an entry like that. You don't make an unauthorized entry while they're moving a bus of criminals in the facility. There's a right way and wrong way to do it. And look, I've said from day one, you cannot support ICE. You can go ahead and support sanctuary cities, but you can't cross that line. You can't cross the line of impediment. You can't cross the line of knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien. You certainly can't trespass in a facility that's contracted by the U.S. government to house criminals. That'd be like breaking into a state prison, not going through the proper protocols. This creates a huge safety crisis.
Hey, Democrats don't care about the safety of the American people, bro. That's why I'm coming off with this. This is why I'm coming away with from this video. They don't care about the safety of the American people at all. They just care about their political win. And so what? The facilities being made in New Jersey. So what? Federal. Last time I checked, federal is over state, isn't it? Federal law overrides state law, if I remember correctly. So who cares if it's going on in New Jersey? Who cares if you bring your own officials there? Democrats, y'all running into a very bad. Y'all setting yourselves in a very bad corner here.
And these elected politicians know that. This isn't about the due process. This isn't about constitutional rights. This is about politics. They simply don't want these people removed from this country. They don't want immigration enforcement in this country. And that's what it's all about. They can try to hide it all they want with these protests around the facility, but we can continue to do what we're doing. That facility's got some of the worst of the worst. We're keeping President Trump's promise to the American people that elected him for the sole reason of securing the border and removing these public safety threats from the communities. That's exactly what they're going to do. They can stand out and scream all they want. They can trespass, they'll be arrested. If they impede, they'll be arrested. If they knowingly harbor and conceal, they'll be arrested. We're going to do this job for the American people.
Well, they got the news cameras out there, which I'm sure.
Shoot, how you going to argue that? One side saying, hey, we're doing this for the safety and well-being of the American people. We prioritizing criminal illegals first before we go after people whose only crime was coming into this country illegally. But we're going after people whose crime was coming into this country illegally, and also something else. We're going after them first. That's number one priority. Democrats screaming foul. Democrats are crying victim. Democrats are like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is so bad. What's going on in our country? Well, they need due process. They had due process. They broke into our country without due process. Like, you come into the country, you get handouts from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party enables these bad behaviors from these foreigners, and these foreigners think, oh, these police people are jokes. During Biden's administration, you saw a bunch of instances in New York of illegals not respecting NYPD because they're getting let out with no cash bail. You show people how they treat you. Oh, these people's laws don't mean nothing to us. That's how America was seen during the Biden years. Our laws didn't matter. Illegals thought they could do whatever they want. These illegals were making TikToks talking about how they can steal people's houses in New York. Y'all forget New Jersey? New Jersey. Americans in New Jersey, please. As a fellow American from Florida, don't tolerate this anymore. Please vote these people out. I don't care if you vote for another Democrat. Just vote for a Democrat like Eric Adams that understands that he can't just let illegals do whatever they want. But this is all political, as Tom Homan showed. Because if you look at the political interest, you can see why Democrats are doing what they're doing. If illegals are given the opportunity to vote, they'll vote overwhelmingly for the Democratic Party. Illegals help boost the census power, the electoral college of Democratic states because of the sanctuary cities, to increase their population numbers, and increased population numbers equals increased weight on the electoral college, increasing the weight of a Democratic vote in these deep blue cities. This is how they're growing their electoral map. Not actually doing things for the best interest of the American people, but doing things in the best interest of themselves. And this is one of them. And no Democrat can really, on good faith, argue this point that I'm making, that this is nothing more than politics. You're doing a political theater to mask your actual political aim. And I think many Americans are seeing through the BS. But I digress. Enough about me, enough of my ranting. Let me hear your ranting in the comment section below. Your thoughts, your perspective. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.